Houston Texans beat the Kansas City Chiefs to win their 5th game in a row. And the bottom line with Houston is that's how powerful, or that's how big a 2 edge rushers can be for your team. Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter, their defense is just star-studded. Derek Stingley, Jalen Petrie, Kalen Bullock, they got a lot of really good players on this defense. And when you have 2 really good edge rushers, it just creates a problem for opposing offenses. And C.J. Stroud, he does hold on to the ball a little too long, but he is just creating a lot of plays. And he is just a really good quarterback. Woody Marks, a nice running back. You saw Ogunbowale, the running back, or their third-string running back, have a nice touchdown there. Got some talented receivers too. Nico Collins. Yeah, Texans playing good football, and their defense is legit. It's the first time I watched them play. I got a chance to watch a full, I guess I didn't sit down and watch every single play, but it was the first time I got to watch most of a full game of the Texans defense, and it is a very good defense. And their offensive line is still pretty solid. The running game's solid, but yeah, C.J. Stroud just certainly made some plays in this game. You saw that one throw he had to Nico Collins across his body, rolling to the right. Was a risky throw. That's one of those throws that could easily get picked off. Made some couple. Yeah, I think there was another one too. I'm trying to remember. But yeah, those risky throws could turn into devastating turnovers. But as of last night, the Texans made plays, played well on defense, got a pass rush on Mahomes. They really did all the things, made this kind of an ugly, low-scoring game. Not that the Texans couldn't win in the shootout, but it seems like the Texans are one of those teams that if they turn it into an ugly defensive struggle, their chances of winning, that's favorable of them winning that type of football game. So nice win for the Houston Texans, 5 straight wins by them. And this is a defense that no one wants to see. It seems like, Green Bay, LA Rams are teams I've talked about for winning the Super Bowl, but a defense like the Texans have is certainly a defense that is capable of making a run in the playoffs and winning a Super Bowl because, that's just such a huge thing. 2 good edge rushers because the quarterback can never get comfortable. I noticed that with Mahomes. He's a guy that is comfortable playing uncomfortable, rolling outside of the pocket, having to step up early. But it's not ideal when you're doing it almost every play. That's the thing. Like, even as good as Mahomes is at improvising and making those throws, if on like 3 out of 4 of his dropbacks he's doing that, it's just gonna cause hurried throws and mistakes. And both of those, that one interception, the one drop on 4th down, not Mahomes' fault, right in the guy's hands, and then the one throw to Kelsey that went through his hands was intercepted, not necessarily his fault either, but you notice that those throws were, the one throw to Kelsey was a little off target just because he just had to speed things up. I think that's one thing they didn't really talk about, that they may not, a lot of experts may not look at this game and talk about it, because you could kind of look at it 2 ways. You could look at it and put all the blame on Kelsey, Rashid Rice for dropping those, or you could look at it as the Texans' pass rush is just so dominant that that Mahomes, had to hurry those throws, and in turn they were off target. Obviously these are professional receivers, Rashid Rice, Travis Kelsey. I know he's a tight end, but they should catch those passes. But when you're constantly, when the throws are getting rushed, like when you're just playing rushed as an offense, you start to just play, a little bit anxious, out of sync, out of rhythm, and it leads to, drops, turnovers. So that's the thing. There's 2 ways you could look at it, as like it's just bad execution by the Chiefs offense, or you could look at it as good defense. The defense, the Texans defense is so good that they're affecting Mahomes and this offense, even when they're not hitting the quarterback, even when they're not sacking Mahomes, even when they're not necessarily creating. The one play when bounced off of Kelsey's hands was a turnover, but yeah, that's, I guess. But the point I'm trying to make is when the Texans can, a defense that's that good can start affecting you mentally, even when they're not creating a big time sack, turnover, forcing a fumble. So yeah, credit the Texans defense. Credit the Chiefs defense in this game too. You saw Chris Jones. Chris Jones was close a couple times on sacking Stroud. Stroud was just able to escape. The Chiefs defense came up big, or played well in this game, but too many short fields. You figured that Houston would eventually capitalize on several of those short fields, and they did. It was 10-10 for a while, and Houston was able to get that Ogunbowale touchdown, and then they were able to get that Fairbairn field goal late in the game that kind of made this a 2-score game and kind of put it out of reach.